In this problem, we're given a function as a rational equation, and we are to find f inverse of -4. One way to do this is to actually solve for the inverse function, then plug in -4, but since I only have one value to find, I'm going to use this logic here. I'm going to translate the question f inverse in terms of the given information f. So for example, f inverse of -4 is some number that we're trying to find here. I'll put a question mark there. But we're not given f inverse. If we were given the equation for f inverse, you could simply plug in -4. So one approach is to actually find the equation for f inverse and then plug in -4. But since there's only one number to find, another technique is just to translate the question into the given information. Since I was given f, let's translate this into f, and the relationship between a function and its inverse is that the assignment of which is the input and output gets switched. So the question mark would now be the input instead of the output, and -4 being the input f inverse would become the output of f. Meaning in terms of f, it's the output here that I'm going to replace with -4. So doing so would give you the equation -4 equals apparently x plus 2 over x plus 6. So you could think of this a couple different ways, but a lot of people like to turn this into the form a over b equals c over d so that they can do what's called cross multiply. But in this case, what's really going on is you have division by x plus 6, so that, to undo that, you can multiply by x plus 6. If I was to multiply the right hand side by x plus 6, it would simplify out. If I multiply the left hand by x plus 6, it would look like this. Students often skip this step. They often just do it in their head, meaning when you multiply the x plus 6 over, that the -4 gets distributed to both. So you need parentheses here if you're going to write this step out. So what I did is I multiplied the left-hand side by x plus 6. When I did it to the right-hand side, it simplified out to give me this. So multiplying this out, I'm going to get -4 times x, and then -4 times 6 is -24. And then once this is a linear equation, you probably can stop the video and finish it on your own, but I'm going to do two steps in one since this is for a college algebra class. I'm going to subtract x over there. I'm going to add the 24 that way. Excuse me, so what's going to happen is I have a -4x. I'm going to subtract x. That's going to give me a -5x. And then on the right side of the equation, I have a 2. We're going to add the 24 over. That's going to give me 26. Running out of room to write. So once I have that equation, what I can do now is, since the -5 is being multiplied, I will divide both sides by -5, and I'll use that dirty word that these cancel. Again, what really happens is -5 divided by -5 is really 1, and we have 1 times x, and we don't usually write the 1. So we have x is equal to -26 fifths. So if you're doing this in a Math AS environment, you could just write -26 over 5, or write its decimal equivalent to probably several decimal places, depending on the directions of the problem.